Okay, so I gave you all a topic, or you all chose a topic uh, for what we're talking about: substance abuse, divorce, family issues, work-home balance, same-sex relationships, workplace dating, relationships, and so we're going to go over those. And it says to think about the following as you prepare what you want your thoughts to be. Think about how this issue would impact the workplace, and think about how you would address this issue in the workplace. Um, Emily, if you don't mind starting, what?
Yeah.
So it's asking specifically what your own experience, or if you have any experience with. Let's see, you chose work and home balance. So if you have any experience with that, and go.
Yeah. So the reason I actually chose that is because I interned for a company called Thread Wallets, and they are a super young startup company, maybe like 4 years old. And it's by this couple, Colby and Mackenzie. And they have had to work their butts off in order to get that company where it is today. And it just amazes me every time I talk to them and see them that they're able to balance that life between work and home, because they're constantly like their work is at home because they have an online company. And so I was interviewing him for a class once and asked him, um, so how are you able to balance between like, having like a date night with your wife, or like keeping the house going, and then also still keeping this company running, and just like questions like that. And he said that he just has to plan everything, and he can't look at everything for the week, because that's just super overwhelming. Just look at it from day to day and plan accordingly. um and I don't know how he does it. Honestly, it just looks like such a tough job, just being an entrepreneur and um having a family as well. um Trying to think what else I was going to say about it. There was some reading about it. Sorry, it's echoing and it's like bothers me, but um so there was some reading about it, and they were talking about this lady. She was saying how she owns this company and she was trying to do more flexible hours. So what she was doing was that they could make their own hours so that they can make it to their kids' play or whatever, because the commute was just ridiculous. It was in downtown Virginia, so I don't know, something like that. So they could set their own hours and beat traffic, or they can work from home. And she said that it was really good, and the employees felt super good about their job because in that way that they could have work and their home life. So I
Exactly.
thought that would be a good idea. Yeah, the good idea to set your own hours and see what you can handle and what you would like to do. If you can handle like that required, like if you had required projects, get them done and then go home kind of thing. So it's more up to you versus you have to put in your 50 hours a week.
Um, I Yes, exactly. And just to branch off a little bit, like you said about another question you've had, I notice often I am business management degree, which has a lot to do with entrepreneurship. And I'm taking another class that is called Building a Small Business or something like that. And each week
Mm-hmm.
go along with our human resource class topics a lot. And the last couple of weeks, we've talked about working relationships with family members, do's and don'ts. And this week, we're talking about how to move on. Like, when does it become too much? Like you mentioned, Emily, this is a startup company. They've been at it for 4 years, but they still seem to be super busy and not flexible. And you hope they get to a point where they will become flexible and be able to hire someone on so they don't have as much of the load to do themselves. That was just something that I've been learning in my other classes, to come to a point where you can hand that off and be comfortable with handing some of that workload off. Do you guys have any other similar issues or ideas? Sam, I know you wanted to chime in as much as possible. So if you have any other thoughts related to this home and family balance.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about this and the readings. There was about online working, you know? And I just figured how good it would be that there's more online working available, and that could provide to the solution of spending time with your family or being there for your kids' games, kids' performance. Just, yeah, like technology, when well used, it can solve situations to have more united families.
Exactly. I think it goes along with what, recently the general, the church presidency said, when they changed the priesthood session and the session,
Yeah.
only once a year. So you go, the guys have it in April and the girls have it in October. And, just so that there's more family time. I think in a lot of areas we're seeing where we've always said family comes first, and a lot of people are doing that. I don't know about you, but in the bigger cities, and not that Huntsville is a big city, but we live near a lot of big cities. Nashville, Atlanta, Birmingham are all within 2 hours of us. Just thinking about driving in that traffic to and from work every day. I know people who do it in Atlanta, and why I don't understand. Because I hate driving through Atlanta. But people do it, and this is like you both said, it's a great option. Home and do your work. And sometimes I think, in my case, being at school, I feel like this is my work, and I feel when my family's here, I get more work done. Like I'm doing my work more when they're here than because I want to get it done while they're earlier in the day, so we have more time in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Which is what it should be anyways, but I find myself getting distracted when they're not here because there's no one to make me focus, I guess. I have a hard time focusing when I'm just by myself and it's the dog. But
yes,
okay.
It's kind of, oh, sorry. No. I'm just thinking, like, also on the flip side, I feel like you just like what you were saying, that you get distracted when you do online work, and I feel like you have to be that type of person to be able to handle that and have that focus. Because for me personally, this is my first semester doing online work, and it's been so hard because I felt no motivation to get anything done. And I'm more like the person, like, okay, I'm gonna go to class, I'm gonna focus for this amount of time, and like, because I'm motivated, like if I don't go to the class I don't get the points, kind of thing. So I think you just have to be that kind of person that has that drive.
Yes. And it was also commented on the paper where they do have to fire some people for, thinking that it's going to be a slack work job because they can make their own time and hours. And yeah, you still have to do the work. So yeah, so I thought that was interesting. Okay, so Lori's not here. Let me pull up her paper really quick. Here. And we'll go to hers.
Okay, I have it.
Oh, do you have it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Should I read it for you?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay,
yeah, that'd be great.
In the subject of divorce and family issues, in the words of Lori, of course, I have observed that those with issues of divorce can be distracted and miss a lot of time at work. Their productivity has taken a toll where they are not producing as much as others around them. They need someone to talk with and a friend that is willing to help them. In this case, I have talked with the employee and found out that they were going through a divorce. Listening ear. When they said they didn't know what to do or where to go for help, I was able to share with them a flyer about our employee assistance program, and they were able to use that to get the help that was needed. This was also helpful for myself, as I have been dealing with my father passing, and having the employee assistance program has helped me with issues that have come up. We have had a counselor that is there for our workplace come in and give a presentation of what is available, and when a manager lost their spouse, we were able to have the counselor come in and help us know how to deal with the grief that they would be going through and even other issues that we might have in our own personal lives. The best thing that we can do as employees and even an employer, or if working in human resources, is have available to others is someone that can help, such as employee assistance program. This could be having a number that they can reach at all hours of the day. We could also make sure that there are flyers out there for someone to be able to pick up and look at when they feel that they could use it. The last thing would be if the company has a web page, the number employee assistance is there for the employees to have access to at all times. All right, so what I like from what she said is, well, the example she used of this woman, she sat down to listen because Lori is so sweet and so wonderful and she does that. And then this woman said she didn't know what to do about it. So there was this service available, this program available, but the woman didn't know. Thank goodness Lori did know and she gave her the flyer. So yeah, I agree with her. There are services, there is help, but if people don't know that's out there, how will they use it?
Exactly. So Sam, do you have any personal experience with that?
Not with divorce, but yes, in the fact that when you're struggling through something, your work performance is much worse.
Yeah.
So, I mean, a divorce is a big thing, so of course it's gonna affect them.
Yeah. Emily, do you have any thoughts?
I'm just thinking about like when I was just starting out with school online and working, because I was starting a new job as a teller and starting school at the same time. And it was hard because it was like I was like just busting up crying because of my classes, and it was hard to focus on work and do the best I can do and excel there. Like I would forget to tell people about the promotions we're having as I'm giving them their money that they're withdrawing from their bank. And so that was just school. I can't imagine if it was something that you're super invested in, like a marriage or something else going on in your life. But yeah, I haven't had like a divorce or anything, but just like personal life stuff, it does affect you very much so. And I think people can tell, especially the managers, if they're keeping a close eye on you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I have some personal information about this type of thing. My dad was in the military for 7 or 8 years. He was married to my mom. They divorced. It was pretty bad. She lied about a lot of things. And then he left the military because he couldn't do what his work was and take care of us kids. He received custody of my brother and I. I was a year and a half old. My brother was 6 months old, and he received custody of both of us, and it was too hard for him to do both, work and be a good dad. He said it was just too early in the morning to be home too late. But we later found out, like only recently, that the military offers these amazing services, and they've always offered these services. He didn't realize it either he didn't know the right people or he didn't know who to talk to, fell through for him. So, you know, my husband and I talked about it. You know, my dad worked so hard. He still works really hard. But life was a struggle after he left the military because there was not that support that the military had. And even while he was in the military, he didn't feel like he still had that support. And there just wasn't that person to direct him to the right place. And I never question why our lives turned out that way. But I've recently thought of, if that person was there and was able to direct him to the people to help, how much our lives could have been different. And he could have finished his career in the military and not have to struggle so much, because he's worked so hard to take care of us that he's now paying for it. His body is falling apart, really, because he's worked so hard. And so I think an important thing is, if you do know, don't be shy. Just make sure that whoever needs to know knows the information that is available to them. I think that will, then it's up to them to decide how to use it.
Wow, yeah.
Okay, so let's move on. Spencer's not here, but do you guys have any workplace dating relationship ideas?
Unfortunately, I do.
Okay, Sam.
So, because his was workplace dating relationships. Okay, yeah. So this year, when I was working at Pathway Student Support, I did start dating a coworker. I mean, it was cool at first. I'm not that kind of awkward person. The bad thing is that it didn't work out. I ended up breaking up with him. And so, like, going into the office and seeing him every day and seeing how sad he was and how depressed and how everything was, like, troublesome with him, and all the stuff I knew was going on in his family and his studies. And that really affected me in my work performance.
We can't hear you.
You hear me now? Hello? Hello?
I can hear you.
You can hear me?
Emily, I
Yeah.
can't hear you. Wait,
You can't hear me either?
Ready?
No, I can't
think
hear anyone.
You're missing out my story.
I can't hear anybody.
Oh no.
So my speakers are working. I see my little bar working.
Can you hear us now? Should we sing to you?
What should I do? I'm not the computer person.
What should she do, Emily?
Can you write it to me? I can't hear you.
Should she plug in?
I'll put earbuds in.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'll plug my earbuds.
Yeah, that works for me usually. It's when I have a headphone jack and I put it in, and then it's like, oh, I can hear you guys now. But I liked the singing idea. I think she would have liked it.
Start singing. Our beautiful voices will make her audio work again.
Okay.
Can you hear us now?
I can't hear you.
Oh my goodness, what just happened? Well, should she, like, if you close it, it'll still
Where's
be
that
live.
chat thing?
Should I try me?
If you close it, it'll be on live still.
Okay.
So
I'll
try.
just log back in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Oh well, we lost her. She left the group chat. I feel abandoned.
She'll be back.
Ronnie
Yeah,
left.
that scared me. It scared me the first time when I accidentally got out of the group chat, and I was like, "Oh no, I'm the person that's like in charge of it, and it's live. What if it's me?" I was freaking out. So I'm glad that we figured out we can do that.
You know, sometimes accidents help us for future occasions.
Exactly.
I think we lost her. She's not back yet. Oh well.
Oh.
And what about you, Emily? What have you been in the workplace?
I haven't dated anybody in the workplace. That's
Smart
for sure.
choice.
I really try not to. It's like dating somebody in a singles ward in your ward, and it doesn't work out. It's just awkward, and you can't concentrate.
You know, at least in the singles war, it's just on Sundays. Or FHG family, that's also awkward.
Yeah, that is really awkward. I agree.
Yeah. I mean, I never had a FHG family boyfriend, but my FHG dad asked me out a few times, and then I got a boyfriend, so it was kind of awkward.
Oh.
And then, like, my roommate got interested in him, and they started, like, kind of knowing each other, but then it didn't work out either. And so it's just like, man, I'm sorry for you.
I know, I'm just like, I'm hope just to get married someday so that I don't have to worry about that kind of weird stuff. It's
Seriously.
Just, yeah.
You do have a boyfriend, right?
Someday. I do. Yeah.
Is he near?
His name is Mitch.
Okay, I can hear you. I'm on my phone.
Telling me about Mitch.
I met him because our roommate is dating his brother, and then because I knew his the roommates, I got to know his brother, and we just started dating after that because we hit it off really well.
That's great. See, I want a story like that. But no, instead I had to start dating a coworker and then make things harder. And now I have a new rule, which is never ever date a coworker unless an angel shows up and tells you to do so.
There you go. There has to be an exception, right?
Okay, I once dated, but okay, so I was a child care provider. I was a preschool teacher, and I dated a parent. Yeah.
Rainy.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was kind of rough. And I mean, of course, it was good at first, but then it ended badly, and then it just got weird because I was still liking him. And anyways, so yeah, you just kind of have to get over it, move on. And sometimes it takes a little while, which, you know, it's fine now, obviously, but
I remember...
It could be bad. It could be really bad. Like, it could have turned into a stalker thing, probably.
True.
But it was good.
Yeah. So in my case, after this happened, for some reason my QA grading wasn't as good as during the beginning of the semester. Pretty sure, I had to influence on it. So the QA guy that QA'd me, he took me to a room and he's like, Sam, you're like doing much worse. Like, what's the matter? And he's like, I know you've been going through some situations and breakup and such. So is that affecting your performance? I was just so upset because this guy that was QAing me just a year ago, we had a thing for each other. And I'm just like, are you seriously QAing me? This is so bad. Yeah, it was a hard moment. It was like, this is nonsense. So yeah, no workplace so ever.
Just don't.
That's where it goes. If you are an entrepreneur, you never work with your friends or family. That's the big suggestion, because it goes along with the same. Yeah, things just go bad often.
Things get taken personally, and it's just too easy to make it awkward and hard to work.
Exactly.